Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, August 8th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change, joined on one of the most beautiful days in the Gem City by the one and only Duane Long. Duane, I can only imagine 50 or so miles down the road, you're seeing clear skies.
It's gorgeous out. Nothing but blue. I don't know if we've had any 90-degree days, and we're early in August, so that is a major positive. And it means we're getting closer to football season. So, yeah, it's a good day.
For the high school football players and all the football players in the area going through two-a-days, this is one of those days where it's sunny, but you get a nice little breeze in your pads and you're feeling good. I don't think it's about 72 degrees. So for all you SoCal Bucks, enjoy that. Anyway, one thing we need to discuss. Actually, there's many things we need to discuss. We're going to start with some current events here. Andrew Chatfield, the defensive end from American Heritage, who was a surprise commitment when he joined, has decommitted. I don't think this is the most shocking thing that's ever come down the pike. It's pretty much expected now he's going to go to Florida. Your vibe on what they lost and can they replace it, et cetera?
Well, here's the thing with Chatfield. We love the football player. Kid can ball. But he was, the body, we didn't know where he was going to go. Maybe he's one of those kids that could add 30 pounds and get to 250, 255 and be just a 4-3 rush end. We don't know what was going to happen with him. Was he going to go the Ryan Shazier route and drop back to being a linebacker? There was some question marks there. And when you look at what we have shots at right now, in particular, Oway, to me, I just love what I see out of him. And we got Tyreek Smith and Micah Parsons is still out there. I mean, and as much as I like Chatfield, I would take any of those three over him without any question. And considering we're in great shape with Tyreek Smith and with Oway in particular, it was addition by subtraction as far as I'm concerned. And, you mentioned that the average rating for the class went up when he decommitted.
We talked about that off the air before we got started here. Chatfield's rating is about a 90, and the class average is 95.2, so it went up after he left.
So, I mean, if we end up with one of those guys that I mentioned, Oway, Parsons, or Tyreek Smith, we've actually addition by subtraction with Chatfield. Good luck to him, though.
No doubt, and I think there's a chance we end up with all three of those guys, obviously.
Yes.
Interesting recruitment in that he was a surprise commitment. A lot of people thought he would decommit, and he did, kind of facilitating that Florida guy, the boogie stereotype. But like you said, the rating has gone up, and they're in the mix for some other dudes. I think they should be in good shape. We were jesting on the text that American Heritage pipeline really isn't producing the way we thought it was going to. Nestor Rivera will visit later on. We'll revisit that when he gets back up here. Also on the recruiting front, one of the prime targets for the Buckeyes, and really a guy I think everyone in the know thought and thinks will commit to Ohio State, Cameron Babb, standout receiver out of the St. Louis area, tore his ACL. Not the first time this has happened to someone the Buckeyes have recruited. Just off the top of my head, I mean, J.T. Barrett didn't play his senior year, and J.K. Thomas missed almost 100% of it because of injuries that cost them. What's your vibe when a prospect of this ilk tears his ACL?
Well, it used to be a bigger concern. Now they seem to be coming back from them much better, easier, and they're not as career impacting. I mean, we had Bosa tore something.
Good one. Yeah.
Something in his knee, and he's had no problems coming back from that. So, it's just disappointing for the kid. He's going to miss his senior year of high school football. He's going to spend all his time rehabbing, and it's a setback. There's no doubt about it. He's not playing football. So, but I don't think it's going to impact his recruitment. I don't think there's any reason why we're going to change our minds now. I mean, in the past it used to. I remember many a time a player would get hurt going into his senior year, and all of a sudden the offers were nowhere to be found. Nobody wanted to talk to him for a while. And then when people did start talking to him again, it wasn't the same schools. So, but they've come along with rehab that, it's just not as big a deal. Yeah, of course you don't want to, it's when you get into the second and third surgeries on the knees. That's when you start saying, uh-oh. So, it'll be all right. I still think he's going to be a Buckeye.
I agree. Bill Kurlick's the man on this kind of thing. My thing with Bab is, and this is going to sound bizarre, but, we need to get some statistics on knee injuries and such. Like you said, back in the day, that used to be a death knell for your career. I mean, every town has a guy who was supposed to be the next great one that hurt his knee and ended his career, and now he's on the back of a garbage truck or something. But that's just not the case anymore. Technology has got to the point where some guys, if you have a bulky knee and you blow it out, they can rebuild it stronger than it was in the first place. Now, he's a receiver, so I don't necessarily believe this is totally the case, but for Dobbins, a whole year of him not getting hit is fine for me. You only got so many hits in your body. Receivers, not as much, but running back, those types, if they can rebuild your knee good and you spend the whole year not getting hit, and then you go to college, I'm not sure that's a terrible thing. Especially for a guy like Dobbins, as I digress, who's going to get the ball a trillion times. I'd rather those hits come at the big time level than at high school. But speaking of big time question marks, right guard. So we've got everything else settled, it feels like. I think Jordan Fuller's going to be the other safety. We'll work it out at receiver. The starting receiver spots really aren't as concerning to me, given the strength of a committee approach there. Right guard, what's up, man? We can't seem to make a decision there. Are they going to ride it out? There are days when Malcolm Pridgeon we think is going to be there. Burrell still. Demetrius Knox. I don't want to base this all on, and we can't base it on what the guys see the few minutes of practice that's open, especially when that could be tactical. What is your vibe on this? Who would you like to see there? And are we getting concerned that no one's been picked?
No, I think this is more, I think Pridgeon's going to be the guy. I absolutely believe that. I think this is all about keeping the competition up and, keeping those other guys motivated. They don't have to start settling into on second team, on third team until the season starts. And that's the way you want it. You want them out there competing. People talk about Jim Tressel or Urban Meyer with the psychology stuff. Jim Tressel would do the same thing. He wouldn't name starters. He'd just, say they're out there competing and we got some guys and we'll see, and nobody's nailed down the job. This is old hat, So no, I'm not really worried about it. I think Pridgeon is going to be the guy when the season starts there. You said Knox. I don't think anybody wants to hear his name after watching a playoff game last January. But I think Pridgeon's going to be the guy. You were talking earlier about the hits on a running back. Like you said, there's only so many hits in the body. I remember Marshall Faulk being asked when was the last time he felt as good as he did after he retired. And he said, before the first time I ever stepped on a football field.
Right.
Running backs get beat up.
They do. So it's a glamour position. It really is. But, you take a pounding. A guy toughness to me is one of the more underrated aspects of a really good back. And we've seen that here. We've been blessed here with some fantastic running backs. And we're blessed right now. Mike Weber has gotten, in my opinion, a little bit, as we really digress here, he's gotten more abuse than he should have. And his biggest crime is replacing Zeke. There's not going to be another Zeke. People got to grasp that. As good as J.K. Dobbins is, and as good as he becomes, I'd be shocked if we have another back as good as Zeke. That's not a problem. He's the best running back walking planet Earth. There aren't many guys at that size. I really don't know of another one at that size right now, built like that can run through the tackles and then enter, right into a 4x1 race. So I think Dobbins resembles the big playability that that Zeke had, and Weber really doesn't possess that fifth gear, and that might be why they're geeked out about it. But we will see. That brings us to our last topic. Dobbins, the hype train has left the station. We are driving it. We are passengers. We are bystanders. It is everywhere. And I've mentioned this. You cannot talk to someone who has been at practice without them bringing it up, whether you ask about it or they say something about it. However, conspicuous by its absence, we hear very little hype about the receivers. I was hoping by this point someone would have grabbed the spotlight. I was hoping for some Austin Mack chatter, some more Ben Victor, some more Trevon Grimes. Instead, it's more of the names that we've heard before, guys who have been here for a while and maybe haven't starred yet. When should I be concerned about the receivers?
Well, the only one we've heard anything about of the younger guys is Grimes. We have not really heard anything about, what we hear about Ben Victor is the inconsistency that is driving the coaches insane. I think the other side of it is you're not hearing anything bad. We're not hearing anybody separated, anybody's really standing out, but we're not hearing that, man, these guys are just not ready. So it can be a glass half empty, glass half full thinking on that. It doesn't appear that there's really anything wrong. Maybe the worst thing is Marcus Ball tight end in a cast. So I'm not really worried about it until I start hearing rumblings that I don't know about these guys yet. So, I'm going to be a glass half full guy on that.
I will tell you this, the one guy we do hear about, and I know those who frequent the site probably don't want to hear it, the receiver we hear the most good stuff about, or the offense, is Paris Campbell. So I'm like everybody else. I'm hesitant to, fully get on the Paris Campbell hype train, but they've been talking about him since he got here. And when I say got here, I mean got to school. Urban has always talked him up. My hope for Campbell is that because he showed up here at about 17 years old, and I think he just turned 20, that he's kind of coming into his own physically. I heard Zach Smith say he's going to basically play the Curtis Samuel role, and that's his time to get the ball. So I hope that happens. We'll finish with this. What is your confidence level in Paris Campbell becoming kind of one of the 2 or 3 stars of the offense?
Well, what I saw in spring, I could see that happening. The kid has always had speed. We knew he could run, but he just seemed to be more dynamic, more confident, more ready to play. Maybe it is a maturity thing, Dan. That could very well be. He was a year younger than everybody else.
Yep.
And, everybody else is coming in here at 18, and he came in here at 17. So maybe it is just a maturity factor.
Let's leave it at that. And just this is one of the things you have to have faith in this staff. Urban has never really talked about a guy that much and had him not pan out. Curtis Samuel was the closest in that. I'm not sure Curtis had a chance to get that many touches, but Urban always talked Curtis up, and then he came through in the end once he had the opportunity. So let's hope Paris is the same. Everybody get out and enjoy that great weather today in the great state of Ohio. If you're elsewhere, try and do the same. Have a great one, Bucknutters.